Very good morning, friends. Under the mission of We Mold Mind and Shape Career, our Faculty of Commerce, SMPIC is always inclined towards 360-degree development of our students. Friends, as you know well, that we have various clubs and forums at SMPIC. Talking about Innovision, the management club, we would like to nurture and develop managerial skill of our students. We have different event and activities at campus as well as outside, offline as well as online. We have competitions like business plan, quiz, case study, IPL auction, and expert lecture series also. Talking about outside events, we always motivate students to participate in national and state level events also, like Protsahan, Prabandh, Vishleshan, Marketing Mavericks, Aldab Brand at Mumbai, and Moneta, India's largest management festival at Mumbai. So it's really indeed our matter of pleasure to share with you that all time our clubs and students are winning trophies and cash prizes at various levels. Apart from this, our management club organizes various visits also, like AMA, Mica, Nirma, and different places. As a kickstart of this year in Management Club, here we have a special webinar, rather talk show that is on social media usage. So friends, as we all know that social media is like a connecting bridge for the people. But yes, side by side, one should understand the pros and cons also. So it has been said that in the world of algorithms, hashtags, and followers, one must know that the real importance of human connection. And yes, to understand that, we have kept today this webinar that is on social media etiquettes for youngsters, especially college goers. So first of all, I would like to request our ever-inspiring and guiding Dean Sir, CA Dr. Marzoon Jokhi Sir, to share his views. Over to you, Marzoon Sir.
Thank you, Krupa ma'am. A happy rainy morning, dear students. Good morning, Dr. Parth Vaishnav, the guest speaker for the day, colleagues Dr. Krupa ma'am and Jaimin sir. I think everyone has at least one social media account. And I think it is inevitable fact for the current scenario, especially for students. And as a student, you probably might have at least maybe one account on Instagram or a Snapchat or a Facebook or other platforms. We all know that what you put on the internet stays on the internet. And it is high likelihood that there is a possibility that your future employers will search your name on Google to check for any red flags. And because of this, sometimes what happens that this negative presence on social media might prevent you from a favorable opportunity. We are fortunate to have with us the young, the dynamic, and the professional speaker, Dr. Parth Vaishnav. I'm sure that he is the right person for guiding you, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Krupa ma'am, for the do's and the don'ts of the social media. And probably you will be at the end of the session today, will be aware about probably much using the social media to the advantage. I really acknowledge the efforts of Dr. Krupa ma'am and Dr. Jaimin sir for arranging the relevant session for the students for the day and for all their meticulous planning and the hard efforts for continuously doing so many different activities for our management club students. And finally, I feel that younger generation are called the digital citizens. But a couple of suggestions from our end. Use social media for good. Think before you post. Be kind online and proceed with caution. Thank you so much, Krupa ma'am. I request you to take the session forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful insights. And it's indeed now the time to invite and introduce our own Dr. Parth sir. So it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Parth Vaishnav sir. He is consultant psychiatrist from National Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience, Bangalore. He is national convener of Addiction Psychiatric section of Indian Psychiatric Society for the year 2020-21. He is co-director of Samvedna Happiness Hospital at Helmet Circle, Ahmedabad, which is the first private psychiatry hospital in Western India to be accredited by NAV. With more than 10 years of experience, he has been actively involved for awareness about mental health nationally. He has been a part of more than 300 public talks, seminars, educational and awareness lectures, and television interviews. So let's start our talk with Parth sir. Over to you, sir. Our students are eagerly waiting.
Good morning, but let me start off by saying khamosh, because if you want to listen to me, at least you have to create less chatter. But let me put it this way, khamosh always does not mean not to speak. Most of the time it means speak less. Because we live in an era of verbal diarrhea, I feel that people are very happy to put filters over their pictures and copy comments of motivational quotes from different Insta accounts. But I'm very sorry, people don't put a filter in their brains through which they have to express their thoughts. They feel, मैं तो बहुत ही निर्दोष हूँ, I am very, very innocent. I speak anything that comes to my mind. I'm not manipulative. This is not known as manipulation or being emotionally stable. It is an exact example of being emotionally and intellectually fool. I'm very sure that the audience with whom I'm talking today is way beyond this discussion, and that is why I decided to talk about certain things which I feel are so important for all of us. I'd like to start a slide share. Please let me know when it's available. So, I always feel that everybody is out there ready to advise you, give you different sorts of. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. I think about to. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Everybody
it's
out
visible,
there,
sir.
everybody
Yes,
out
now
there
it's
wants
visible.
to, yeah, great. Everybody out there wants to give you some or the other advice, and I feel that nobody likes advices. Nobody likes that people comment on you, people talk about you, or people show you the way where you want to walk. So I'm not here to deliver a lecture in the first place. I'm here simply to talk with you. I've been talking to many youngsters lately. People who come to me because they have certain mood problems, people who come to me because they have certain relationship problems. And like you, even I have two addresses. The first address is where I live, my residence. The second address is my social media accounts. And I prefer to take up the moniker of Hey Parth. Because I feel the world requires a Krishna, but there is no Arjun to follow the Krishna. So as a Parth, I decided, why can't I become an Arjun and ask people to become one day? So to begin off, let's not be too serious about today's topic. When we talk about social media, it's all about being social, talking to people, connecting, bonding, knowing more friends, dating at times, buying new things. So there is nothing serious about it. Let's take it as seriously as the Joker would take the Batman, as I would guess. I'm talking today with the Generation Z, and I'm in awe of you people. Let me tell this to you. Generation Z is the most focused generation that has ever been born on this planet. The confused generation X and Y are gone, who did not know what they wanted to do and merely left the country because they did not find a place in this country for themselves. I feel that the Generation Z is so focused that they are very open-minded to talk about very complex topics like women empowerment, sexual orientation, gender neutrality, and sex education as well. This generation is born with the smartphone at their fingertips. They are ready to search anything, know anything, and apply anything in their life so that they become something which is important. But as any generation has their flaws, even the Generation Z have their flaws. The two main flaws that this generation would have is number one, impatience. They cannot wait for their turn. ये वही जनरेशन है जो रेड लाइट पे अपने बाइक स्कूटी या एक्टिवा का हॉर्न बजाती रहती है. They don't know where they want to go, but they don't want to stay there. And This is a generation which believes in pleasure principle. YOLO, you only live once. So maza abhi yahan aana hi chahiye. If there is no fun, then you don't deserve to live. When these two principles are combined, the whole funda of instant gratification comes into picture. Instant gratification means you want pleasure at this moment, at this juncture, irrespective of whatever the future consequences of it are. Pleasure तब definitely available हो जाएगा. But what are the long term consequences? The brain that you have would not allow you to understand what they are. Because let's face it, there is nothing wrong with the generation society as well. You are anatomically born with a brain, let's put it this way, which does not develop anatomically, physiologically, biologically by the age of 24. Isn't that funny? Because that's the age before which you take all the major decisions of your life. You decide where you want to study, you decide whom you want to live with, you decide where you want to settle in your life, you decide your partner, you decide every single damn thing before the age that your brain had anatomically developed into something which could be said as permanent. And that is why many people say that I have passions. I like to play guitar, I like to play cricket, I like music, I like art, I like culture, history. They have lots of passions. But suddenly they get up the next morning and their passion changes. And that is why the generation always falls into the confusion between passion and profession. Well, because anatomically your brain is not developed to take a decision by which you will be able to stand for yourself for the rest of your life. It is pretty normal. When we are talking about a brain that is still developing, that is under development, that is work in progress, and then we have so many things that can influence it. You people have just joined college. Oh, the brilliant days of life. I still remember when I first joined my college, it was my anatomy class. So I studied MBBS from Surendranagar. It was my anatomy class. And the first day of anatomy class was supposed to be dissection. So we had to dissect a dead body and find out the different parts in it so that surgically we would know which part belongs to which region in the body. The first time they showed that body to me, I actually realized that I am not as strong as I thought I was, because it gives you a sense of panic and jitters in the body. And gradually as time goes, you become comfortable because you respect the body, because it's going to teach you something, and it becomes your companion, your teacher, your only guide through the next year, because that is where from you learn something. So the first day of college always comes up with some sorts of really funny things. So sad that you people have to attend your initial days of college online and not offline, because that's like, it's the education system which has brought us up with this novel idea. Or else what last year we have seen, the most defining year of all of our lives, the COVID year, has changed us front to top, front to bottom, top to bottom, front to back. I guess none of us are the same. None of us believe the way we used to believe earlier. And to put onto this the whole funda where your brains would be influenced by your friends, by drugs, by internet. Because there are only two industries in this world which feel that their clients are users. The first one is the drug industry. I am definitely going to come back in future and talk to you about this industry, because that is something that Ahmedabad especially faces a big surge of. And the other one is the internet industry. Both of them feel that their clients or their customers are users, and there must be a reason behind it. Well, think about it. Every time that a product is designed in this world for people to use, the few things that they would keep in their mind is the product should be taken up by people who are young so that the product is used for a very long period of time. The product should be made available to them when they are maximum free. The product should be such that they use it repeatedly again and again and again, like a slot machine of your casinos. You keep on going back to it again and again and again. What product and during what time of the day should the people be given such a product so that it is never off their mind? Our brains are made up with something very interesting. Neural research in the last 10 years, in the last decade, have proved that 30 to 50% of time in a day when we are awake, which includes your college, your studies, your education, your entertainment part, time with the family, time with loved ones, time with your relationships, time with yourself. 30 to 50% out of it is a time when your mind wanders away. Man bhatakta rehta hai. And would you imagine? There is a circuit in the brain between the prefrontal cortex and the cingulate gyrus. This circuit is the one that is actually present by nature in your brain so that your mind can properly wander away. It remains active during the periods when your mind is wandering. So basically, the nature has made a mechanism to make you less concentrative, to make you wander away from what you are doing, to make you directionless? I guess no, because mind wandering is the exact duration during which you spend some time with yourself. The rest of the times you are spending time with the things that are happening outside. So, environment, people around you, your friends, your peer, while the mind wandering time is the only time when you spend some time with yourself. It is so important that you spend this time with yourself, because most of creativity, natural thinking, imagination comes during mind wandering. But yes, destruction also comes during mind wandering. The internet companies had a brilliant idea. Why not devise some product which would be utilized by people during this mind wandering period? Because that is 50 to 30 to 50% of the total awake hours of the day. So we are actually taking away half of the day from people without them knowing it, because that was supposed to be the mind wandering period. So the next time that you are doing nothing, you are simply sitting, you are taking a breather from some hard work, you would simply pick up your smartphone and start scrolling it. He'll start looking at the feeds of Facebook, the various pictures on Instagram, the various tweets that are done by celebrities or the people that you follow, the influencers. We'll be talking about them as well. You keep on searching various videos on motivation, on internet, on Google, on YouTube. And I feel that the whole concept of motivational video is like brown bread. Neither a bread nor a video is healthy. But when you tag it with the word brown or motivational, they suddenly become healthy. Because I feel that motivation is a sort of a surge commodity. As soon as you look at a motivational video, you suddenly feel highly charged up to do something. But as soon as the video is over, because your wandering mind goes back to its wandering process, you suddenly feel like doing nothing until you watch the next video. And that is how I get many patients who are addicted to watching motivational videos and not doing anything motivational in their life. Because, my friends, there is nothing like motivation. Had motivation been a commodity available in the market, it would have been the cheapest of the commodities, because it is not something that gives you a push. Inspiration is the right word. अगर गधे को दो लात मारी जाए तो वो चल लेगा, दो मोटिवेशनल वीडियो देखे जाए तो एक लेक्चर या एक टॉपिक पढ़ा जा सकता है. बट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट some long-term success, for which we require some long amount of attention, sustained concentration, and we need to have focus, which does not come with motivation. It simply comes with inspiration, because motivation comes from outside, inspiration comes from inside. Both of them are very different. This is where the internet companies try to trick you, because most of the social media posts are motivational quotes, something that is so nice to listen but so impossible to actually practice in your life. The wandering mind would simply want you to stay free most of the times, and the free period would be utilized by your accounts. The sad part, we cannot plan our lives. We do not know where we are born, how we are brought up. Nature and nurture is something that is not in our hands. These companies with the mind wandering mind give you an option to decide how you are born. So the whole idea of the name that you can change on your internet accounts, the different sorts of selfies or the display pictures which you put. So now you can show the world what you want them to see in you rather than what they want to see in you. The whole idea of having various accounts as your residences on the internet platforms or the forums was to give you the power to decide the sort of life you want to depict, to show various activities so that you can show that you are a fun loving person. And that is why the various platforms, by their various methods, may it be Facebook by socializing, may it be Instagram by pictures, may it be Snapchats by personalization, and may it be WhatsApp. I say that the world had faced two world wars, the World War One and the World War Two, and then came the WWW, World Wide Web, which was the World War Three. So basically, now people were fighting against each other on the internet. They put their opinions and they try to fight against facts. I can't imagine that how people lately on various topics during coronavirus pandemic were fighting about various opinions of whether a vaccine should be taken or not, whether the virus would be airborne or not, whether a surface would be infective or not, against the facts which are available on various health websites. And the fourth world war was WhatsApp, because now people started fighting with themselves. Would I be answering someone or not? Would the blue tick mean that did I get validation of someone reading my questions or reading my topics or not? And constantly by various status updates, putting a loudspeaker on your brain of what you are thinking all the time. Did you ever imagine? Did you ever understand? When you open the Facebook, it always asks you what's on your mind. It's the only forum which asks an exact question to you, because Facebook wants to know what's on your mind. And that is why many times laugh that Facebook and your toxic girlfriend or boyfriend are exactly similar, because both of them want to know what is on your mind. They want to ask about your location. They want you to update your pictures. They want you to tag friends with whom you have gone. And 1 year later, both of them on their walls would show memory where you were 1 year ago. And that is why it is so important that whatever you post on a Facebook or an Instagram account and tell your partner should be filtered so properly, because the memories of it would be brought back to your memory wall again and again and again. And that is how many youngsters meet me, because in the last year, when we were isolated, when we were asked to stay with our own selves, which was the most difficult thing, because we can live with a lion as well. Many people might have seen a movie Life of Pi, where a young boy on a small boat with a storm in the sea stays with a tiger, and the tiger does not eat him up. In the end, they become friends. It's even possible to live with a tiger, a man eating tiger, but it is not possible to live with our own selves, because we don't eat ourselves. We basically intellectually kill ourselves. The last 1 year, everybody had to stay with themselves, and that is when the social media use went very high. People started meeting me for that, because now the whole competition was among likes, among shares, among comments that people were making. So they do not like people advising them, they do not like criticism from people, but they're constantly looking for what comments people are making on their pictures. Selfies became the new norm, especially in the lockdown, with various trends, and I am so much against them. A hashtag in my times was used to play a very funny game called Sun Chokri, crosses and circles. And nowadays, the hashtag decides whether you become viral or not. Though the virus already decided who becomes viral or not, but even today, people want to become more viral, because they feel that I want to be heard, I want to be known. And see, I'm not like against social media. Let's put it this way. I feel that it definitely gives you a platform to express yourself or to get a jump start, because earlier opportunities were very thin. But a platform is also for various trains, or a railway platform. Just like a train comes and goes away on a platform, a person for this platform simply comes and goes away. If you feel that you'll be living on that platform for the rest of your lives, I guess you are looking to meet a doctor like me at the earliest, because these platforms are there for their commercial purposes and not there for you to get name, fame, money. And that is altogether a very different phenomena, because earlier were the days where people were writing some notes to themselves on their own diaries, and nowadays they would want that that diary is readable to everyone. That diary is something their Instagram account is, because if people don't read that, you go mad. I simply got a viewership of 500 people. I hope that 5,000 people watched what I was going to post. We are making our lives much more public instead of personal. So we simply say that please don't talk to me. I like to live a personal life. And then we project everything that is even not going on our minds on the social media and let the people know what we are going through. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Psychiatry is planning to put a selfie syndrome as a disease. So 2023 revision of my textbook would see the invent of two sorts of disorders now. One would be a selfie syndrome. The second would be Googling, because that is something else that people are doing a lot and trying to know more and more about things through a search engine. So a search engine or an SEO decides what you should be watching rather than your brain or an expert like me or your professors. The problem with a selfie syndrome is that people fall into narcissism. The word itself is so selfish. You want to take a picture of your own self. There is nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong to take a picture of yourself, because it is a note to self. It is like a self growth. It is something through which you can assess yourself, look into your own self. But the problem is you look onto a selfie through the eyes of others, through the filter of others, and that is why you start hating yourself. I have so many people who have been suffering from body dysmorphic disorder, which means they hate their body, the shape of their body, the color of their body, the form of their body, the size of their body, because it doesn't suit a certain filter. They are suffering from so many mental health issues because of body dysmorphic disorder. There are so many people out there who are going for hair transplants, so many people out there who are going for crash diets, weight losses, who are trying to ramp up their body into six-pack abs or zero figures. They are destroying the metabolism of their body simply so that they can follow specific trends of wearing clothes or putting onto various pictures through various filters. And that is something very debilitating. instead of a world where we should be competing with each other. They say that the world is very competitive lately, but we are comparing each other. And there is a lot of difference between competing and comparing. Because when you compete with each other, you are looking at a goal. So when Neeraj Chopra was competing at the Olympics, they were all looking towards the goal of getting a medal and then finally a gold medal. But the whole thing of comparing, every morning you get up, भला उसका सफेद मेरे सफेद से ज्यादा सफेद कैसे? Now that is a sort of comparison that we are talking about. It doesn't make any sense. But that is what the social media makes you do. Compare yourself as per the number of friends, followers, likes, comments, shares, mentions, hashtags. And that is where your mental health would be really badly affected. Because our brains are really a very old sort of hardware. Let's put it this way. Even you, all of you have evolved with time, you have evolved a lot, but you have not evolved much more than the apes who still can take a banana off a tree and not pay for it and laugh at you that why are you paying for a banana which would be available for free. Your brains would evolve, but it is a very old hardware. Let's put it this way. And these softwares, a repeated software upgrades is going to crash your brain one day. But your brain has a very novel capacity of neuroplasticity, which means that the neural connections in your brain can be formed in a way that you want to. And that is how people can become thinkers, creative painters, writers, engineers, doctors, businessmen, entrepreneurs, IT professionals, and whatnot. And that is how it is so important for all of us to use this neuroplasticity, the developing part aspect of our brain, to our potential. We are trying to make the machine learn a human language and human emotions so that we don't feel lonely. Because think about it. All of us are surrounded with people. The whole idea of being alone and lonely are so different. We are never alone. We are surrounded by people, by gadgets, by people on the social media, by our friends, by WhatsApp, by Instagram, by Snapchat. We are always surrounded by people. We are never alone. But in our brains, all of us are so lonely. Because in the triest of making the intelligence artificially available to the machines, I think we all made our emotions artificial. The machines do know how to behave like humans, but sadly, even the humans have started behaving like machines. We are worst calculators as compared to the one which we had in our desks, and we are very poor managers of our own self. Because think about it. We required a manager to run a company. We require a manager to run a house. Sometimes we require a manager to run our social media accounts as well, which was supposed to be a reflection of who we are. We require a manager to govern our own selves. But that is something out in the open. Nobody is ready to accept that challenge, and everybody is out there to point fingers at the other that it is him or she who is responsible for what I'm suffering from right now. Ultimately, you have a gadget, a thing in your hand which gives you feedback. A social media, a smartphone, anything that is there in your pocket which gives you feedback. A cocaine does not give you feedback. Marijuana does not give you feedback. But a television does give you feedback. A smartphone does give you feedback. It constantly starts giving you suggestions of what else should you watch as per the things what you have watched in the past. Did you understand the whole funda of why would a streaming app like Amazon Prime or Netflix would have the next episode ready when the last 3 minutes of the current episode is going on? Because of the fund of instant gratification. They want fun chalu hi rehna chahiye, band mat karna, keep on binging over it. So people keep on binge watching, people which on binge eating, people which keep on binge playing their games, and I feel that is the only binge jaruri thing that they keep on doing. Because the whole idea of binging is to keep you compulsively hooked onto your phones. There is a difference between compulsively using your phone. All of you at some point of time must have suffered from something known as nomophobia or phantom ring syndrome. So there are times that you feel a vibration in your pocket thinking that some notification or some message has come to you. And you simply try to check it and nothing was there, like nobody had called me. This is a phantom ring syndrome wherein because you are so much hooked onto your phone, so much of your time is spent on the phone that now phantom rings disturb you. People hear their ringtones out of nowhere, out of air, because this thing is giving a feedback to you. It is every day becoming more addictive for you. So it is time that you take control over it before it take controls over you. So how does this mentally affect you? It creates jealousy over illusions. So things that does not exist. I've got so many friends who have broken their friendships just out of jealousy on social media. So people are envious of lifestyles. People are putting various sorts of challenges like the 10-year challenge. What you were 10 years ago and what you are now. It created so much of envy online. People are putting fake and false things which they had not done. things that or lifestyles that simply don't exist. You get up in the morning and simply put a picture of your coffee mug and say, I'm enjoying a cup of coffee. It's a cup of coffee. Even I drink one twice a day. I do enjoy it, but I don't think that the world needs to know the times when I drink my coffee. But the brain makes you feel that this is how you'll be wanted. This is how people would feel that you are important. This is how your lifestyle would look more important to you. And that is how people start spreading rumors as well. The last 1 year saw maximum rumors sharing in this whole planet. And I feel that rumors are like tumors. The way a cancer tumor should be cut off from the body to save a human being, until the rumors are not cut off from the social media, our brains are not safe. Because people blindly follow rumors in a way that they alter their life drastically. And it creates a sense of insecurity, anxiety. Health anxiety was at an all-time high in the last 1 year because of certain irrelevant rumors of how coronavirus would be spread or how its spread can be prevented, and that too by really eminent people, by eminent so-called spiritual and yoga gurus of our country, who are spreading blatant rumors of how their medications are better than other vaccines available in the market. And I had so many people who are his followers simply following it because Baba e kidhu etle final. They said that Dwanita kidhu etle final on Radio Mirchi. But it was so shocking the way the media was used to spread rumors. So it is time that you realize that from what source is this information coming, because it affects your mental health. Anticipatory anxiety, which means that the event has actually not happened, but just the thought that the event would happen makes you more anxious and panicky. Health anxiety, that what if something happens to my health and help is not available, makes you more anxious, makes you more sick, makes you suffer from various sorts of anxiety disorders. There are very specific signs that you are suffering from some mental health problems when you are active on social media. You have constant distractions from your work. As I discussed, the whole concept of wandering mind. Gradually, you don't only use your smartphone when you are wandering in your mind. On the contrary, use it more when you require the maximum concentration. So, I have people who meet me because the moment they open their books, they have to addictively open their social media, because as they open their books they get a notification that a sale is available 40%, one which is end of the season sale, would not be available later. It's a big billion Independence Day. If you don't take it right now, you'll be losing a lot. People impulsively push on that notification, buy that thing. They are so happy that they bought the discount, but not sure whether they wanted the product or not. Because ultimately that is what we do. We buy a discount and hardly think whether the product was required to us or not. And that is why we suffer from bad emotions. We suffer from guilt of having wasted the money, and we try to escape bad emotions. Cyber trolling, social media trolling, something which has to be like, all the colleges have uh, groups which are anti-ragging, anti-bullying, and I think it's time to explain such groups that cyberbullying is for real. In the last year, many teachers met me because on groups of the various classes, students were doing bullying of teachers as well. Teachers are suffering from so many mental health issues. Bad pictures of them were posted, fake chats of them were posted, and teachers who are trying so hard to accustom themselves in this whole era of technology with the pandemic, with online education, I don't think that they deserve this. They deserve more respect. They deserve more respect than ever before, because this was difficult. Let's face it. For me to talk in front of you for 30 minutes only once in a month or once in a year is difficult. For them to talk with you every day for hours, that would be a very difficult job. A big salute to me, to all, from me to all the teachers. I think that people spend very less time with their families because now they have communities online and lesser families offline. And the communities make them believe some things that don't happen, that don't exist. Family times have gone low, friends time have gone low. Isolation and loneliness is at an all-time high. Constant anxiety, depression, loneliness is spiking. Ultimately, it causes inferiority complex, depression, anxiety. Sleep disturbances are very common lately. Eating disorders, because people want to have a perfect figure, they are suffering from anorexia nervosa and binge eating disorders. So they eat awkward things at awkward times. They eat ice creams, they eat high fat foods, they eat burgers, they eat fast food at any point of time, but not the roti sabji food that they're supposed to eat. Body dysmorphic disorders. Hypochondriasis means feeling that I have an illness while not suffering from one. Self-harm and suicidal behavior was an all-time high. Lots of challenges were there which put your life at risk. The last one, the crate challenge, wherein people had to gather various crates of bottles and climb on it. So many youngsters, teenagers suffered from so many injuries simply because they wanted to get famous. They did something that was harmful to them. Suicidal behavior, online suicides have gone very high because depression rates are very high, relationship stressors and promiscuity. All thanks to Tinder and Mumble. Relationships have simply become swipes instead of an actual emotion. So now you search for a relationship, a hookup. You don't talk to people, you don't convince a person why they should fall for you. You simply put pictures which are appealing, bios which are fake, let's face it. And you feel that you will be bought upon by the opposite person. Even if the person buys that picture, it's not you, let's face it. And that is why relationship stressors were at an all-time high. Paranoia among relationships is an all-time high. Show me through a video call where you are. This has become such a paranoid feature of every relationship. Send me the location, a live location of where you are right now. Come on, if you cannot trust a person with their location, I don't think that you can trust the person with your lives at all. Addiction is very high. So not being able to quit things when they are required to is known as addiction. You have withdrawal features for that. Gradually, you cannot stay for any time without your smartphone. There are many people right now listening to me at the same time, checking their notifications, checking their WhatsApp statuses, checking their messages. Now that is a form of addiction because you're supposed to pay attention to something that is advised by college, but you cannot, you compulsively go back to it. And when you don't do it, you get withdrawal features. Many people say that they feel irritable if they don't watch their phone repeatedly. They feel a sense of tingling sensation in the body. They have mood swings. They do not get pleasure out of activities. They cannot concentrate on the thing in front of them because their mind is constantly there. These are exact signs that you are getting addicted to the phone. The number of unlocks in a day that are required should be 30. You should not unlock your time more than 30 times. The number of taps, a tap would be anything, touching your screen, should not be more than 500. An average person is tapping 2500 times in a day. So if my theory goes right, I guess every one of us is addicted one or the other way. Social media bullies, trolls took a toll on us in the last 6 months especially. Lots of people have been suffering from mental health issues because of trolls. Sexual abuse is an all-time high because of social media bullies and trolls. Don't ever post your compromising pictures just to gain popularity. I have active 24 patients in therapy who are suffering because they send their pictures and videos to their so-called online friends who are blackmailing them by those pictures. Don't put your integrity above anything else. Always remember, your self-esteem is much more important than your self-love. Because if you cannot respect yourself, nobody in this world would love you. And putting compromising pictures or sending them or sharing it with others does not mean the height of love that you share with them. It simply means the height of foolishness that you're having in your brain. Be very careful about your behavior online because online bullies and trolls, they are cynical people suffering from real mental health issues, and they are out there to harass you. It's not an unsafe world to live in until you don't make one for yourself. It depends on how you take this world as. And when mental health problem arise, the Sushant Singh Rajput case, social media was abuzz with this word depression. I think depression as a word became very trending. A lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people were experiencing it, but very few people were actually taking help to come out of it. Depression is not simply a mood state. मुझे उदास लग रहा है is not simply depression because उदास रहना एक emotion है. I may feel bad, sad for a day or two is an emotion. If I feel sad for more than 14 days, which affects my work, concentration, performance, or my studies, is real depression. Meet a psychiatrist at the earliest. Posting messages on their social media that my doors are always open, come and talk to me, a coffee with me would change your mood. Actually, if someone is suffering from an illness, if someone is suffering from heart attack, would you put that post on your social media that when you have chest pain, my doors are always open for you, come and have a cup of coffee with me? For once in your life, start taking mental health issues as real life illnesses rather than simply problems which anyone as a counselor can solve. They are not. Mental health issues require good people who can really treat them, a mental health expert. You are not an expert by simply reading a few blogs. So next time someone tells you I'm sad, if you're a good friend, tell them, why don't you meet a mental health expert? In the end, is this whole jargon called social media good or bad? Well, I think that I am no one to say that it is bad because I am someone who is highly active on it. But I have fixed times for it. I think that I want to change the whole perception that things are good or bad because there lies a gray area in between as well, which can be utilized or exploited for our good. I think social media is good because it gives you technological literacy. I think people were so much technologically handicapped before the invent of smartphones and social media. It makes me so happy that my grandmother, before she expired last year, it was a very sad moment for me. But we used to, she was my nanny, she was my maternal side grandmother living in a different city. It was so nice to almost twice a week video call, talk to her. A 85-year-old lady was able to video call me and talk to me twice a week, wherein there was a time that I had to meet her twice to thrice a year. I could not see her face. And it was so nice for me that I can connect with her. So it bridges people, it brings people together. It does attract attention, positive attention as well. Some good social media campaigns have changed this world lately. The whole campaign about the global warming by Greta Thunberg, it was good until it was not hijacked by Toolkit. It was a good campaign. There are certain good campaigns about farmers' protests as well. There were certain good campaigns about the vaccination process in the last year. They are really good campaigns. They attract attention. They make people aware about the current scenario. It, of course, gives you a business opportunity. Let's face it. People are selling their products that are baked by them, that are created, crafted by them. It's a good platform to sell things, widen up the business. It bridges the knowledge gap a lot, but use it to your benefit. Simply do not rely on the validation of people or the artificial intelligence, because your posts are moderated by a bot, an Autobot. The reach of the post does not imply directly to your popularity. It simply means the AI wants you to do what it wants you to do, not you what you want to do. Comments are not necessary to feel wanted or important. In the end, no one of us likes that people advise or comment on us. Sharing is caring, but not on social media. Whenever you want to share things simply to boost sales or simply to become popular, it does not mean you are caring. It simply means that you are killing your own self. Decide what to share, what not to share, and don't fall into traps that by sharing certain things you can get a free life on a game, or more discount on a platform, or a better deal for buying something. Because if they're giving you something for free, they are buying the most costliest commodity in this world, the neurochemical currency, which is dopamine. And dopamine is responsible for your attention, your mood, your concentration, and your inspiration, your so-called motivation. Don't let them buy dopamine by simply showing a free video, giving you a discount. Because once they buy it, you get hooked to it. It's not going to be difficult for you to come back from it. For God's sake, stop using porn. It applies to girls and boys alike. Because there was a time when parents of girls were like, अच्छा है मेरी बेटी है porn तो नहीं देखेगी. वो porn use is equal among both the genders. So first of all, come out of that typical stereotype in the times of women empowerment. Porn is not social media. Suggested posts on Instagram. I have a very big tussle going on with Instagram through many of my friends who are having lots of followers on social media. We're trying to stop the whole funda of pornographic content as suggested posts on Instagram. I think we are semi-successful in, but the trial still goes on. I am working in close association with the cyber cell as well, so that porn is not shown as a suggested content to young people, because porn is not real life. It is a weird fantasy, a sort of known as an adult entertainment, but something that reshapes your brain in a very different way. We can talk about it for hours together, but not today, because today the enemy or the topic of center is social media. Physical activity would never replace social media. The amount of time that you spend on social media should be exactly equal to the amount of time you're physically active. So meet a friend over a coffee rather than chat a friend, because I feel that chit chatting on WhatsApp simply leads to cheat chatting. Too much of chatting is also responsible for cheating in relationships, I guess. Dating websites is something you should be very much aware about. Make it a point that you put filterless photographs, because it's the future. I would not say that don't log on to a dating website. Make it a point that you start a movement of not putting a filter over a picture and choosing partners who don't put filters over their pictures. So every time before you like, swipe, download or share, think, and think. And motivational videos are the biggest farce of our generation. I don't think that you require any push. I think that you require a pull towards a greater goal or an ambition. Screen time should be fixed. Divide your screen time into entertainment, education, and productive. Entertainment time should not be more than 45 minutes, which includes your screen time for social media, for various YouTube and streaming platforms, for shopping, for surfing, for blogging, everything. 45 minutes. Once in a week, you can take a breather of 2.5 hours when you can watch a movie online, not more than that. For productive time, which means that you're trying to learn a new thing, You can give 45 more minutes, which means 1.5 hours of screen time is completely fine in a day. Calls, messages that are important, 30 minutes. 2 hours of screen time is completely normal. If education is a part of your screen time, a maximum of 5 hours of screen time should be given to education. Anything beyond that should be downloaded as a PDF, should be printed and read on a paper rather than on a screen. I request all of you, we get only one life. And I expect that you live one life, not make many accounts and harass each other. Because if I share a very interesting case with you, I got a boy who was rejected by a girl, and then he decided to make some 23, 24 different accounts with various pictures. And he started dating around 60, 70 girls through those applications, including the one who rejected him. And gradually, he fell into an identity crisis. मैं कौन हूं इन सब में से? Because on some pictures is someone who likes surfing, on some accounts is someone who is very intellectual because he copies and pastes certain poems and quotes, on some accounts he's an artist, on some accounts he's an influencer, and he was so confused. I was like, is this the new generation of split personality disorder that as a psychiatrist I'm going to see? So for God's sake, don't fake it up, because you think that you're faking to make a fool of the person, but actually you're faking to make a fool of yourself. Be what you are. Be comfortable with what you are. Make a profile of what you are. Because in the end, your addresses would be two, where you live and where you post. And that is why it's very important that you don't make fake profiles. Stay away from social media influencers, because they are also the people suffering from split personality disorders. The real and real lives are so miles apart. In simply to follow a trend of making a reel, they speak, dance, and do certain things which are impossible for people to do. So basically, they are the new age agents for selling things. They are the people who download their brain in their phones and their phones in their brains. I think that influences is something we all should stay away from. Use your brains and not someone's experiences, because that is what our brains are made up for. Don't confuse your Google with a search, with a psychiatrist, with a diagnosis. So don't simply try to find the symptoms on a Google, because in the end what works is teamwork. If we stay together as a team, I can be a part of you people. I think I can help you. A Gujarati can change the country. A Gujarati can change the world. A Gujarati can do anything. And I think that people who speak Gujarati are not simply Gujaratis. People who live in Gujarat are Gujaratis, and I'm proud to be a Gujarati. મને ગુજરાતી બોલવું બહુ જ ગમે છે. એટલા માટે મારા બધા જ સોશિયલ મીડિયા પ્લેટફોર્મ પર હું માત્ર ને માત્ર ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું છું, કારણ કે મને એનો કોઈ ઇન્ફિરિયોરિટી કોમ્પ્લેક્સ નથી. માતૃભાષા એટલે મારી મમ્મીએ શીખવાડેલી ભાષા. મને ગુજરાતી શીખવાડી. I adopted English as a doctor because that was a medium of education. मुझे हिंदी बोलना अपने पुराने सीएम से थोड़ा अच्छा ज्यादा आता है, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं, काफी टूटी फूटी हिंदी है, पर मुझे शर्म नहीं आती. आई फील दैट आई एम प्रिटी ओपन टू एक्सप्रेस माई सेल्फ इन अ लैंग्वेज दैट आई कैन स्पीक. आई होप दैट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड माई लैंग्वेज. थैंक यू सो मच.
Yes, sir, it was indeed a power-packed webinar of social media etiquettes. Almost everything is included here, and I'm sure that all the students were simply now ready to, with all the insights that how to approach or how to post, or what's the right time to post, what to post, which post, and all this. Sir, there are few questions from our few students. That one question just I received is, what about sir the self-image and obsession? It has been said that a person who's using social media again and again to prove himself or herself, he or she is self-obsessed. That I have heard somewhere. So what is that exactly, sir? Self-obsession, by again and again utilizing through different pics on social media, by checking the likes or comments and all this, sir. Over to you.
Madam, let's put it this way, that social media wants you to project as much self-love as you can. Because I explain people in this way, that on social media, your self-love and self-esteem are exactly opposite commodities. The more your self-love or narcissism increases, you post more what the artificial intelligence wants. But you don't post things that make you proud. So your self-esteem goes down. The more you post according to trends, the more you love yourself, the more is the trap of narcissism or self-love, which means that constantly your self-esteem is going down. I explain people that post things which improve your self-esteem. The higher the self-esteem, the amount of trends is lesser, the amount of so-called addiction is lesser. Addiction is not for posting things. Addiction is to gain attention of people. Let's put it this way. Because why do we get addicted? To get pleasure out of things. Why do we want pleasure instantly? Because let's say addiction to work, I would say at times that I'm a workaholic. I'm addicted to work. I work 14 hours a day because it gives me a sense of so much of dopamine surge. I'm so happy all the times. And all these posts do give you a dopamine surge. They do make you feel happy at a point of time, but at the cost of your self-esteem. The more you are posting, the more your self-esteem goes down. So at every point of time before you post, simply think about it. Would I want the world to know this aspect of me? Because if the world knows too much about me, are they going to judge me in a way which I am not? Because we all live in an era where the biggest critique of us is our own self. We are self-critical at all the times. And then we are posting things which make people criticize us as well. See, the whole funda of social media addiction arises from various algorithms, the whole idea of notifications, the whole idea of giving you a short-term fame for a long-term attention of yours. So I think it's time you realize, use them, don't get used by them. That would be an easier way of staying away from addiction of social media.
Yes, sir. Absolutely fine. One more question is about, can you please repeat that screen time usage, the ideal screen time usage on social media?
Virati, I'll tell you, I had a full video on screen time addiction, screen time usage on my YouTube platform. So I put it this way: children who are less than 3 years should not be given any sort of screen. Children between the age of 3 to 5 years should be given 30 minutes of screen time if it is proved that it gives them good social connection, like they're talking to a good family member, they are interacting with their friends, or any sort of an educative activity. Children between the age of 5 to 12 years are allowed 2 hours of screen time, out of which at least 60% should be either educative or productive. Children beyond the age of 13 years, so let's say 13 to till you die, I think that the maximum allowed screen time, maximum, was as per the Indian Psychiatric Society, because I was among the ones who reformulated. Earlier, the screen time guidelines were formed by the Indian Pediatric Association, which became obsolete in the times of lockdown because we all are not pediatric population. Many of us are man childs or girl childs, which means in their brains they are still pediatric. They are not grown beyond the point, but their body has grown. But I'm talking about people who need to grow in their brains as well. People who by their brain age are more than 13 years cannot have screen time which was more than 3 hours before the lockdown, cannot have screen time more than 3 hours. But because of work from home, because of online education, because of your classes or many educative material which is only available through various videos, through various applications now, we have revised the whole idea of screen time. So you can have entertainment, which includes watching any sort of series on platforms like streaming services or videos or social media or surfing the internet or reading blogs or articles, not more than 45 minutes in a day, maximum of 45 minutes in a day, but as a pocket, which means while I'm talking to you, it cannot be a part of my 45 minutes because I cannot multitask. My brain is a very old software. If I try to multitask, which is talk to you, at the same time watch a post, at the same time listen to music, at the same time talk about a patient who's sitting in my waiting room right now, I think that I'm going to crash. Our brain crashes simply at any point of time. So the next time that you're using social media, please enjoy the use of social media. Simply enjoy the pictures, upload the way you want to. Don't try to at the same time watch another notification in your phone or talk to someone else, because phubbing, which means phone snubbing, is an all-time high. You go to restaurants, parties, social gatherings, people are like talking to you and looking at their phones and find so insulting. And he's like, oh, it's a part of my screen time. I said, their screen time cannot become my insult time. So go ahead and have your screen time and not in front of me. 45 minutes of moj, ekdam majja aave wo screen time levano, so that you don't think that, oh, I did not enjoy my time. 45 minutes of productive time, which was a whole new category that we as psychiatrists put in. Because now, say my wife, she's a psychiatrist, but because my son is young and he was not eating anything at home, it became so monotonous because everything was not available during the lockdown. Very few commodities were available. So both of us started baking. I started baking burnt cookies, and that is why my son started not eating them again. And then my wife decided to bake good cookies. She learned it from YouTube, and I'm like, I asked her to go pro nowadays. Like, you bake better cookies than that cookie man shop. You should go for it. I know so many people who have learned new things through these platforms. They are good. Social media is good. You should be using them for productive purposes for 45 minutes extra. And then either work from home or education, maximum of 5 hours is allowed. I'm not sure how colleges would comply by that. It's difficult. So I am a consultant with Nirma University as well, and with their director, I have this constant fight. Okay, sir, 5 hours is not enough, like, because there are so many lectures and we have to overcome the lost time as well. I'm like, I do understand, but as a professional, I have to stand by what I have formulated myself. I was a part of the 60-member committee to formulate the times. You should not go beyond 5 hours, and that is why I say that if you want to study beyond that, why don't you download PDFs and take a print of them? The print would cost you a rupee, the printer would cost you 5,000, but the digital currency, your dopamine, invaluable. If you can give me your dopamine, I would want to work 24/7, because I fall short of dopamine after 14 hours. Don't waste that. Don't spend it on things that are not required. So 45 minutes entertainment, 45 minutes productive, 5 hours of education or work is allowed for people beyond 13 years of age. How to report cyberbullying on social media? Mahima, that's a great question. I think that all the platforms have a report button. So the next time if someone is bullying you, blackmailing you, sending you wrong pictures, or asking for irrelevant pictures from you, chatting with you, don't block them. Because if you block them, they will make another account. So this is something, as a part of cyber education, we are going to start seminars. Earlier, I am very sure Krupa Ben was aware, I was a part of an initiative by the NCB, the Narcotics Control Bureau, the Happy Campus initiative, where we used to go with lots of drugs with us. A white powder, a brown powder, that you'll be shown these things in your lifetimes, but don't say yes to them. We are starting the whole funda of what sort of messages will be sent to you with the cyber cell. We'll be having mock sessions as well, that a student will be sent certain dirty messages from dirty accounts. Don't ever block them. The moment you block them, they know that you are getting disturbed by them. They know that they have gained your attention. Then they know that they have mentally disturbed you. So they'll form another account and again start bullying you. The best thing is to take a snapshot and report them. Very shortly, we'll be coming with a helpline number from where you have to send your details, which would be your handle, the account which you are using, whether it be Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, any account, your credentials, your username and your handle name, and the screenshot of that. I think very shortly in the next couple of months, we'll be coming with that helpline number, and report the contact. Don't block them. Report means the social media platform would be parallel looking at their activities on other accounts as well. And these people, through such IP addresses, even through the change of VPNs, would not be allowed to make a new account on the platforms. They'll be temporarily barred for a year. So last year, we got 7,000 people banned on WhatsApp only in Ahmedabad. And by reporting, not by blocking, because the moment you block, you are blocking them, but they are continuing their activities. So I request everyone, report such accounts. I myself suffered through this. I guess in the last 3 months, 7 or 8 profiles of my Facebook were replicated, asking for money from people. So I was laughing that any point of time, if I make a fake profile, the only currency I'll be asking is your neurochemical currency. I'll be wanting your attention and dopamine. I don't need money. Not that I have them, but I don't need it. So I'm very happy with whatever I have, but I'm not happy with the dopamine I have. I want more attention, concentration, more productivity. Just report them. Can you describe about building new neural connections and to get off their current addiction? Ashish, that's a brilliant question. So the whole idea of neuroplasticity has been developed in the last 10 years. We all thought that once we are born, the brain is developed. And that was identified from the whole idea of mental retardation. Neural sciences was working in a way that we are born with a brain and a body, and it simply grows, nothing beyond that. But the last 2 decades especially has seen a surge in the field of neuroplasticity. If someone is really interested to know more about this, you can even search about Neuralink, a project by Elon Musk. So he's trying to digitize the whole process of neuroplasticity by use of various chips. So basically someone who is trying to make the whole brain artificial lately. That really makes me interested and worried at times, because I feel that it is the impulsivity, emotion, and the whole idea of non-decisional process of our brain that makes us unique. I do not want it to be digitized. But Neuralink is being developed on the process of neuroplasticity. They say that our brain does not have any area where memories are stored exactly. So hippocampus is known as an area, but now they said that there are circuits. Think about it. The first time that you try to drive a vehicle, the first time I was trying to learn a bike, it was so difficult. Clutch, gear, brake, accelerator, looking to it that nobody around me is driving in a way that I crash in them, balancing the bike. I found that it's difficult. It's impossible to learn a bike. And gradually, as I tried again and again and again, I never knew when I was changing the gear, accelerating, putting the brakes, parking my bike, it became something on my autopilot mode. So brain basically develops various sorts of neural connections between the hippocampus, amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex, various areas of the prefrontal cortex. And then there is this idea of limbic cortex. If you want to form a permanent circuit in your brain, which is neuroplasticity, there are two things. One, repetitions, second, liking. You cannot compel your brain to do things which you don't like. You cannot simply go there and sit and start learning guitar because your friends knows how to play a guitar, and that is how he has many girlfriends. So you cannot force yourself to have neuroplasticity. You need to like what you are doing. A very famous Ranji Trophy player was meeting me for sports enhancement. He was sad because he said that I'm not learning the game anymore. I am a good test player. He had a recall in the India A team, but he did not have a call up for any IPL contract. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you trying to hit every ball for a six? That's not your game. He said, exactly, I hate my game. I said, exactly, that is why you're not developing your game. You cannot hate what you are best at. Love what you are doing, try to improvise on it. So many people must have watched that very famous series called Kota Factory. Kota Factory, sir, is a brilliant person. He's a brilliant motivational speaker, I feel. Even TVF Aspirants is a good series if people are looking for inspiration or motivation. So he says that 21 days is a time when a habit forms. Wrong. 21 days is too short. It takes 100 days for you to form a habit. First of all, develop a liking, do it on a repetitions, do it at times when you are mentally fresh, not doing it times when you're mentally fatigued, drained, or tired. That way you can form newer and newer connections. Share it with people. The more the people do it, the faster you learn. So if you're trying to learn alone, you learn it late. If you're trying to learn something in a group, that is how colleges have group projects and not individual projects. So neurodevelopment is much more faster, and something that keeps you hooked onto it way longer than that, killing time. Because I guess lately we all are becoming murderers by killing time, and the murder weapon is this, the smartphone. So if you try to spend lesser time in intellectual frustration on your smartphone, not getting hooked onto the mind wandering circuit, I guess neuroplasticity would be really fast for anyone. How do they damage us mentally? Oh, they can damage us in many ways. Faizan, as I said, social media should be treated like fast food. Let me put it this way. So I like eating bhaji pav, pizza and pasta, but I cannot eat it every day. Exactly the way by eating pasta and pizza every day would make me unhealthy, only using social media would make me unhealthy. I eat fast food at least once in a fortnight, every 15 days, because I'm a food buff, and Ahmedabad is a place where really tasty food is available. Someone really wrote right now that he's from Rajasthan. Man, I love dal bati from Rajasthan, Lalit. But you must try Ahmedabadi cuisine. It is amazing. And I call Ahmedabadi Chinese, Ahmedabadi pizza, Ahmedabadi pasta, because everything in Ahmedabad has an Ahmedabad twist. I do eat fast food, but I don't eat 24/7 fast food. I don't eat fast food as my only diet. So social media can affect your mental health exactly with the way fast food can affect your physical health. Taking it in moderation is not bad. Enjoying it is not bad. Taking it at times which refreshes you is not bad. But only using it some or the other way affects your mental health, because depression, anxiety, stress, loneliness are very common nowadays. I would like to take a whole session on this. Online gaming has made people so much violent. Right now, 3 patients addicted to Free Fire are admitted in my hospital. They have gone very rowdy. They spend more than lakhs of rupees by scratching their fathers and mothers' credit cards on these games. Two of them were from PUBG. The newer name of PUBG is a bit different, Battlegrounds India, if I'm not wrong. But all these games were made with an addictive algorithm. So they are not made by people who want you to enjoy. They are made by people who want you to get hooked to it again and again. So doing the same thing repeatedly, not doing what is age appropriate. At my age, I should be looking at patients, talking to people. If I'm stuck on my phone doing nothing, that is not age appropriate. One, what is not healthy like fast food. Two, which is not age appropriate, would definitely affect your mental health. As I said, until the age of 24, your brain is still developing, and influencing it with things which can alter the connections of your brain, which can alter the way your thinking patterns, your neurochemicals can change, is definitely going to make a different brain for you, one that you did not deserve, one that the world does not deserve. And then this whole funda of Generation Z, which I respect, admire the most, I envy the most, because I belong to that confused generation. Why? The millennials. And that is why I'm like so envious of you people. You have so many things there. I hope you can use that, because owning one thing, using it are completely different. Planning is one thing, execution is another. I hope you can execute it, Ashesh. I hope you can execute it, Lalit, Mahima. That is how your brain would not be addicted or become sick by it. But the moment it does, Mansik Rog, mental health issues is not pagalpan, for God's sake. Mental health is true for real. I have myself suffered from actual depression. I'll not be ashamed to accept that. So on 5th of September, I was diagnosed with COVID-19. As I said, I am highly active. The first couple of days were fine. I was like, okay, I get a break from my busy schedule. I'll rest myself for the next 2 weeks. I'm not someone who's all the time on the smartphone, but I'm a brilliant Marvel Avengers fan. So I decided to watch all the movies from start till end. Fourth day, I developed certain symptoms, gastric symptoms, some breathing discomfort. I have two young children, and they are like my lives. And that thought that what if I'm not going to meet them again really disturbed me a lot. The seventh day was the cytokine rush day, heavy fever, real discomfort. I was admitted in my own hospital, so everything was at my services. The oxygen was there, everything was there. But suddenly, that deep down inside, complete stark loneliness, talking to people simply on phones, on video calls. 14th day, I come out of my room. I should be happy, right? I was not. I was completely down. And 3 weeks later, I had this interview on Doordarshan, DD Girnar, where I openly accepted that I know right now what depression means because I'm suffering from it. I cannot focus on things. I have a severe brain fag. My memory is gone. I'm blank all the times. I don't have thoughts. Forget about negative thoughts. I don't have thoughts. 14 days have made me a blank wall, basically. It took me 2 months to come back. I'm not ashamed of it. I agree, I accept it that mental health issues are for real. And if you get them treated, a completely normal, productive life is for real. I've seen patients suffering from bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, addiction related disorder, depression, anxiety, panic disorders, agoraphobia, eating disorders, what not. Come back, live completely normal lives. Live lives which can support them, their families. So talk more about it, meet people who can help you with that. I hope I've answered questions. If I'm missing anything, please let me know. Oh, Lalit, you should not be depressed for not getting any admission in any university. I don't think. I think simply feel that a university or a college is like an instrument through which you can shape yourself. If the instrument is not same, I guess your brain is the same. We live in an era where courses are available in different institutions on online modes. Financial crisis is not a crisis. I have stayed in a family where 6 people used to sit on one scooter. I don't think that's a crisis. I think that's a learning curve, because people who suffer are the people who achieve the most. I think that any sort of crisis, either in emotions or finances, should be taken as a challenge and not as a weakness. It is time that we all realize that opportunities are available, but we cannot look at opportunities simply from the angle of finances. Whether I was able to, so I had to go to Surendra Nagar for a free seat of medical education instead of getting one in VS, which was available at my time for 7 lakh rupees per year, which was too high. It was like for 30-40 lakh rupees as of today. 7 lakh rupees in 2003-4 was really very high, not affordable to me. I had to go to Surendranagar, a very big letdown for me. A college where there were no faculties yet, because the college was still developing. So there were no teachers in anatomy, there were no teachers in biochemistry. The college was only 4 years old. But I don't think I'm a bad doctor. At the end of everything, it depends on what I want to learn from a space, from a place. Yes, a teacher, a professor, a lecturer would definitely impart you something, but what you absorb depends on you. And right now, Lalit, it's time to realize that you are not going to get as many opportunities with the population burst, with the times that we live in. So be ready for any opportunity that knocks your door, because if you don't grab that one, then I'm really sorry. I don't like people who feel sorry for themselves. There is a difference between sympathy and empathy. I completely understand what you're talking about, Lalit. But what college you are in is going to give you a good platform. Are you going to take it, use it as a jumpstart, move ahead, or are we going to creep over the lost opportunities? Go ahead, take this opportunity. I'm sure I'm going to talk to you very shortly with something which is very successful done by you. Madam, I think you are muted. You're muted. How to come out of depression? I'll address only.
Good morning, all. As we come to the closure of this function, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to one and all who have helped in making this event such a resounding success. I thank our special guest, Dr. Parth Vaishnav, who despite of his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion and provide guidance for social media etiquettes. Thank you, sir. I also thank my colleagues for their consistent cooperation. Thank you all. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Thank you so much.